If you don't have time or you don't have physical ability, spread the messages of your nonprofits right now. Because we are out here, we are hopeful, we are enthusiastic, we are maybe a little bit angry, but we are not going to be quiet. But we need your help in spreading our messages so that our communities, specifically our individuals that are underrepresented and underserved in our communities, know that they are not afraid alone. Because I am talking to a lot of people that are afraid right now. And that is a little heavy on my heart. So I could talk to you about NAMI and everything we do all day long, I promise. I won't, but I could. But really what I want you to hear is that your nonprofit partners need your voices and they need your support right now in whatever way that you can give it. Thank you generously from the bottom of my heart and from my team for allowing us to come today and to talk to you about the work that we're doing and the ways that you might support that work. I mean, if you don't have a favorite nonprofit, I'd be happy to become yours. I also was shared the information that you do have some co-captains for an awesome NAMI Walk. So our NAMI Walk is in September. You can save the date for that, and I know they'll be sharing more information with you. So thank you again. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share with you, and thank you so much for choosing us as your social justice partner this month.
So friends, I invite you to just take a breath. Take a breath as we enter this sacred time with these words from our minister from the 1870s, the Reverend Eliza Tupper Wilkes. May our faith in humanity and our message of hope and good cheer light our way. Friends, it is good to be together. In a moment, our opening hymn will call us back, but before we sing, I invite you to rise in body or spirit and greet those around you, offering a big-hearted welcome. up, everybody. Yeah. We gather today to hear the call of trust. Though our hearts are bruised in this tumultuous time, though our spirits tremble at what next, may we listen again for the longing to repair and to be repaired, to do when the Spirit says, do. Like this flame, our trust is something that needs rekindled again and again. May today spark our bravery to move into trust, to move into risk and land in trust. Come, let us worship together. We will now receive this morning's offering. May it be gratefully given and gladly received.
Authority issues, wish you would listen to somebody, even yourself, every once in a while. Take some initiative, wish you'd start walk the walk, baby. How do you talk to your poor inner child? So cut off your hair if it's too long. Write yourself a coming home song. Learn from the things that you've done wrong. Leave a light on for yourself. Doing alright in a damn crowd. Feeling it all for the first time. And you're just getting into your pride. Leave a light on for yourself. There's no saints in the stars, babe, there's no signs in the ceiling. You get a good feeling, you go with it. I'm trying to help you, and if you don't want my perspective, why don't you get yourself over it? And cut off your hair if it's too long. Write yourself a coming home song. Learn from the things that you've done wrong. Leave a light on for yourself. Doing alright, ain't a damn crime. Feeling it all for the first time. And you're just getting into your pride. Leave a light on and I picked me up, and I picked me up. See, I was falling, and I picked me up, and I picked me up. And cut off your hair if it's too long. Write yourself a coming home song. Learn from the things that you've done wrong. Leave a light on for yourself. Pick up your friends without delay. Then cut yourself down in the same day. Won't you quit getting in your own way? Leave a light on falling. And I picked me up, and I picked me up. See, I was falling, and I picked me up, and I picked me up.
have my Wonder Box today. If anybody wants to come up, it's making some noise. If any children or anybody wants to come up, see what I have in my Wonder Box today. I have actually a couple things in my Wonder Box today. This is the first thing I have. What is it? A jar. Vase. Now, does anyone have an empty vessel in their classroom that gets filled up with stuff? Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you ever done anything like this? So there's a lot, this is inspired by the Brene Brown. That's going to be the video that Reverend Ruth will be referencing later, but it has to do with her daughter. And Brene's daughter had, they call it sometimes a behavior jar or a marble jar or a jelly bean jar. Like, there's all sorts of different things, but classrooms often use this as like to track behavior. Seriously, none of you have one of these in your classroom? That is too bad. That's very bad, because I was kind of counting on it. But basically what happens is they all have a jar, and then they'll have like pom-poms or something, and I have marbles. And then how it works is, like, if everybody gets lined up on time, they get a marble in their jar. If everybody is listening when the teacher's talking, they get some more marbles in their jar. But then there's maybe some bad behavior, and then a marble comes out. But then when you get up to like a certain line, then maybe you get extra recess or something like that. But the whole point of it is you get marbles for good behavior. Now this month's theme is trust. And building trust is kind of like collecting marbles. So, do you have good friends that you trust? Maybe. Sometimes. What are some things that build trust? How about being there when you're sad? You don't have anybody there to play with you at recess? Oh, being honest. Maybe there's something going on and you're trying to pay attention. So we're building all these marbles. Hold on, it's gonna get a little loud. And you get to your marble part where you get a little prize. But the thing about trust is this. One bad behavior, so maybe Elin was lagging behind and didn't get in line, so we had to take a marble out. But is that big of a deal, that one thing? Because that one time you just didn't get in line, you got a marble out. But what if time after time, someone in class did not keep getting in line? What would that do with the marbles? Keep taking marbles out? It would take the whole jar off. When you trust someone, if they break your trust, is that just one marble that comes out of here? No. So we saw how long that took to build that up, right? But one thing, like being dishonest or saying something mean or breaking that trust, just dumps it all right out. Now, is their trust going to come back by me dumping all this back in here at one time? No. We have to build that trust back up. Marble by marble by marble. And sometimes that trust doesn't even get back up there. But it's important that we give people another try to build up that trust. But if we keep having to empty the marble jar, is it worth our time? It might not be. But is it worth the effort to try? Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit more about trust. I'm going to take my marble jar. We can fill it up when we get down there. Do you want to do that? Yeah, that'd be good. Matt is going to play the children's benediction. The lyrics can be found in the back inside cover of your hymnals.
as you go on your way. So, this past month, I overheard 2 conversations in public spaces. Okay, maybe I was eavesdropping. But one group were some teachers, I think. In one conversation, I heard people recount what they are seeing around them. This gut-wrenching shift evolving all over the world, where neighbors are targeted and gratuitous violence is not only tolerated, but deemed a necessary means of getting things under control. They talked about the paramount importance of folks relinquishing their white, safe niceness, this comfortability many white folk relish in, and instead risk entering the real daily lives of their neighbors, their brown, indigent, or trans neighbors. What would it be like to live in their neighbors' confusion? Breathe what they're inhaling, see what they are seeing. The conversation continued. When vulnerable people, for example, drive a car, it's not an innocuous drive. They are out there because they have to. They're diligently traveling right at or right below the speed limit. They are picking up their children from school, having to see a doctor, seeking friends to help them feel safe, connected, and updated on what are the latest precarious happenings surrounding them. They watch and try not to watch with tremendous trembling care that someone's stare isn't ICE in disguise, or a racist cop who can't wait to find some violation to arrest, or a white supremacist who wants them dehumanized, violently apprehended, or even killed. They are torn, white-knuckling it, wanting to drive quickly and can't, but being cautious not to drive too slowly, hoping not to be seen. In another conversation, people talked about leaving their jobs, afraid that some group drunk on violence would surround them in the parking lot on the way home or to work. They are ashamed to have little money to pay their daily and monthly bills that they readily paid before. They spend endless hours, day after day, night after night, worrying that someone will pound on their door in the middle of the night. And this has happened. They are fear of going to the grocery store and desperately torn about sending their kids to school, wanting their children to learn, and fearful that the kids may return to a home without them. It's hard to believe for those with the advantage of white skin or wealth. Isn't this all a made-up drama, an exaggeration, or a television show? It's real. It's real in every breath of desperation, and it's happening right here also in Rochester. I am deeply rooted in my Christian and UU faith. Central to both is how to build a beloved community, a trustworthy community. And the answer is clear. Love your neighbor, not at an arm's length, not at a distance, but living in our neighbor's confusion, breathing what our neighbor is inhaling, seeing what they are seeing, and feeling what they are feeling. May we, as a community of faith, as people of faith, risk our love, dare to take action, and help build a community worthy of trust.
Good morning. It is good to be with you. I invite you to settle in here as we create a place of communal caring and connection. It's our time to pause amidst the busyness of our lives, to slow down enough to consider the beauty that is here all around us, and to open a space for listening and love. Here, we honor all who support us in this caring, loving, and all-inclusive ministry. We send gratitude to Beth Plumhoff, serving as our caring coordinator, arranging care for our members and friends in need for the last 2 weeks. Sue Anderson will take over tomorrow, and we thank her for that. The members of our caring committee are wonderful examples of our compassionate community, holding us up as we go through challenging and happy times. And life can be challenging. We could all use some extra support with what life throws at us, and if you are experiencing those challenges in your life, we encourage you to reach out for support and help. If you need additional care or personal pastoral care, please reach out to Reverend Luke, Reverend Ruth, or myself with that request. In this community, we share pieces of our lives with one another. We do this because all people here have value. Each person's experience matters. We lift up those who are experiencing sadness, illness, or loneliness. May the strength and love in our congregation help guide you. And we revel in those who are experiencing joys in their lives. May their happiness lift us all, and may their joy filter into all around them. Please hold Patricio Alamán in your thoughts as he recovers at home from prostate surgery that he had on February 27th. He is resting comfortable and enjoying some great nursing care from Marty. He would welcome cards of support and well wishes. And the cards of support and well wishes are welcome for all. The cards of support list that is compiled weekly contains several members and friends of the church who are experiencing sadness or celebration, and is posted in the entryway of the church as well as through a link in your e-news. We provide cards and postage and welcome you to leave those cards down by the basket for mailing. Here, our service to each other, to the world, and to our faith is our focus. Let us carry that out into the wider world. May the faith in the spirit of life, love for the community of earth, and love for the light in each other be ours now and in all the days to come.
I invite you to find yourself in this here and now, taking a deep breath. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Breathe deep, breath of life. Feel below you the earth and its ancient turning, above you the sky. Beyond you, the stars holding you in their light, holding you in this moment, this breath. You yourself are made of earth and stars, and in this house you are named and known as beloved, as sacred. Let us enter a time of silence together, breathing in peace, breathing out love. Spirit of life and love, God and Gaia of many names, we pray in the words of Reverend Gretchen Haley. What's going to happen, we ask? Will everything be okay? What can I do? In these days, we find ourselves too often stuck with these questions on repeat. What's going to happen? Will everything be okay? What can I do? We grasp at signs and markers, articles of news and analysis, Facebook memes, and forwarded emails, as if the new zodiac, capable of forecasting all that life may yet bring our way, as if we could prepare, as if life had ever made any promises of making sense or turning out the way we'd thought. As if we are not also actors in this still unfolding story. For this hour we gather to surrender to mystery, to release ourselves from needing to know, yearning to have it all already figured out, and also the burden of believing we either have all the control or none. Here in our song and our silence, our stories and our sharing, let us make space for a new breath, a new healing, a new possibility to take root. That is courage forged in the fire of our coming together and felt in the spirit that comes alive in this act of faith. That we believe still the new world is possible. That we are creating it already, here and now. May it be so, and amen.
Meditation on breathing, like Ruth just sang. It's 10009 in your teal hymnal if you want to look at the word music, but you probably don't need to. We're going to start with the drone part, which goes like this. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Nice and simple. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Then if you want to sing with me on the melody. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe
First reading is an excerpt from 8 Whopping Lies and Other Stories of Bruised Grace by Brian Doyle. All you can do is face the world with quiet grace and hope, hoping you will make a sliver of a difference. Humility does not mean self-abnegation, renouncing, lassitude, state of weariness, detachment. It's more a calm recognition that you must trust in that which does not make sense, that which is unreasonable, illogical, silly, ridiculous, crazy by the measure of most our culture. You must trust that you being the best possible you matters somehow. That trying to be an honest and tender parent will echo for centuries through your tribe. That doing your chosen work with creativity and diligence will shiver people far beyond your kin. That being an attentive and generous friend and citizen will prevent a thread or two of the social fabric from unraveling. And you must do this, all of this, with certain knowledge that you will never get proper credit for it. And in fact, the vast majority of things you do right will go utterly unremarked. This is what I know, that the small is huge, that the tiny is vast.
What silence said. This is what silence said to me today. Trust what you can't see. Move forward despite the wobbly groundlessness of I don't know. Breathe, love, create, show up as you are every day, no matter what. Go to where the wild irises grow. Say thank you for it. Weeds, cracks, sunbeams, the hand on your shoulder, the forever throb of ache. It's all a doorway, a hand leading you back to grace.
Have a little faith, I say.
Thank you. Oh, I needed to hear that. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, I thought to myself. It was the day after the election, and I was heartbroken. I had walked around for the majority of the day like a zombie, doing what zombies do. Eating lunch, taking the dog for a walk, ignoring the pundits. And now here I was, sitting in a circle of men in this dingy room, a makeshift altar placed in the center of our circle while a fake candle flickered on and off because the battery was just about shot. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, I thought to myself. At the regional state prison, where I run a group called Beyond Grief and Loss, everything gets stripped down to its bare essentials. The weather doesn't matter. Old formulas of success and failure don't matter. The election doesn't matter. Whoever is the president, it doesn't matter. What does matter is authenticity. Trustworthy connections matter. A cellmate you can get along with, a few friends or family members who stick with you. Books that keep your mind working matter. If you're lucky, a journal to keep track of yourself. That matters. And in our grief and loss circle, this is the question that matters. What are you willing to risk to repair your life? What are you willing to risk to repair your life? Over and over again, I witnessed these men doing very risky things in a very scary place. Talking about friends cut down in a gunfight and openly weeping. Trying to figure out how to tell a beloved mother that you were abused by her brother, that your crime didn't come out of nowhere. Grieving over a tooth lost in a bar fight, that your face will never look the same. Losing childhood innocence. Grieving over the real hurt you've done. Holding yourself accountable for the real wounds that you've inflicted, and at the same time holding a sense of compassion for yourself. Trusting that there just may be a way through, even though the ground is wobbly and you're not quite sure where the doorway is. Over and over, the men in the grief circle are risking big things in order to feel what clean pain feels like. What does clean pain feels like, as Resmaa Menakem calls it? Clean pain, not dirty pain where you spew your ache on everyone and everything around you, but to actually feel it. Feel pain, to hold it tenderly, fiercely, to navigate the trauma of our lives differently. Risk and trust are the two essential food groups for feeding your soul and transforming your life. That is what I bear witness to every week in the prison. And I can't stop thinking about these men. They're always with me. They stay with me long after the classes are over. They inspire me with their bravery to step into great emotional and spiritual risk and somehow land in trust. In the grief and loss circle, we learn that grief is a sacred pathway to healing, not something to be avoided, but in fact embraced. Grief is the way by which we as human beings transform suffering into fertile ground. The men learned to trust what doesn't quite make sense. That which seems illogical, silly, ridiculous, crazy, by any measure of most of our culture, as Doyle says, and yet makes for human flourishing. They're flourishing. They start to trust themselves in a whole new way. Now, most of us think about trust as something that is built by grand gestures. Someone saving your life, or someone rushing to someone's bedside. Certainly this is true. But social science research says that trust is actually built in very small moments. This is what researcher and social science guru Brené Brown and others such as Dr. John Gottman have discovered. Trust is built in very small moments. Brown gives these examples. When you ask people, who do you trust and why, they say things like, I really trust my boss because she even asked me how my mom's chemotherapy is going. Or, I trust my neighbor because when something's going on with my kids, no matter what, she'll drop everything and come over and help me figure it out. And it turns out we really trust people who go to funerals. That's a big trust builder. Certainly, trust built in very small moments has proven true in my prison work. I hand out these very simple little journals in which the men write during class, and then they hand them back in at the end of class. And in one of our second or third meetings, a guy leafed through the pages and said, hey, you didn't write anything in my journal. Unlike the homework assignments on which I comment all the time. Yeah, I said, I don't look at your journals. I want one place where you can be absolutely honest. So I don't look at them. In a place where everything is scrutinized and examined, bodies strip searched, all correspondences opened, every aspect of daily life observed, holding their journals as a sacred correspondence they are having with themselves, their private space, is a small but monumental gesture of trust. Thank you, the guy said. Thank you. And we all understood we were landing in trust. Brené Brown teases out the building blocks of trust as acts of braving, an acronym she developed to describe the tenets of trust, and I would add building our capacity and skill as risk takers. She talks about these elements of trust as measurable, observable behaviors and describes the acronym braving this way. B, for boundaries. I can only build trust with you when you are clear about your boundaries and you hold them. And you understand my boundaries and you respect them. There is no trust, she says, without boundaries. Reliability. You do what you say you're going to do, not once, but over and over again, and I do what I say I'm going to do over and over again. That means being clear about our limitations, about what we can and cannot do. When we're not honest with ourselves or others about our capacity to follow through, our reliability tank will always be riding on empty. She uses this example, which I am so guilty of. I meet someone on the street that I haven't seen in a while, and I'm genuinely excited about this serendipitous meeting that has just transpired, and I say something like, oh man, it is so good to see you. I'm going to give you a call, and we're going to get together really soon sometime. Even though I know full well that I am super busy, and I'm probably not going to call that person for 4 months, and my enthusiasm gets the better of me, and my reliability, my trustworthiness takes a hit. Better to say, oh, it is so good to see you. And as Brown points out, let there be an awkward pause and leave it at that. Accountability. When you mess up, you own it, you apologize, you make amends, and you extend the same grace to me that when I mess up, you allow me to apologize and make amends. the vault. What you share with me, I hold in confidence. I sometimes say when speaking to friends who know both my spouse and me, I hold what you say in confidence. That means that this stays between you and me, period. And if you want Rebecca to know, you'll have to tell her yourself. Another aspect of the vault that Brown talks about that I think is important is making sure that you don't participate in gossip or trying to build connections with someone by being negative or gossiping about someone else. Hey, did you hear about so-and-so and her divorce? Oh God, what a mess. I'm pretty sure her husband is cheating on her. This kind of talk may feel good in the moment. It may feel like connection, but it's actually fraudulent trust. Integrity. I cannot trust you unless you act from a place of integrity, and you encourage me to do the same. Brown's definition of integrity is choosing courage over comfort, doing the right thing over what's fun or fast, and practicing your values, not just professing your values. Non-judgment. I can only build trust with you if you accompany me when I fall apart, when my heart aches and I'm needing help, and you meet me with non-judgment. And I show up the same way for you. Brown points out that this is super hard for most of us because most of us are much more comfortable being the helper, much more with the helper role than the helpee. That our self-worth comes from being the helper, but always assuming that position of the helper does not foster real trust. Trust is built on mutual vulnerability, on being human with one another, in our struggles and our shortcomings, and having someone to turn to who will meet us with non-judgment. And finally, generosity. Our relationship is not a trustworthy relationship unless you can assume the most generous things about my actions or my words and check in with me, and I do the same for you. Her example is something like this. It's been 1 month since your father's death, and you've talked about this with your friend as something you're dreading and you're struggling with. And your friend knows it's a big deal for you, yet there's no phone call or text or anything on the anniversary of that date. So you give your friend a call and say, hey, I know there's a lot going on for you, and I wanted you to know the 1 month anniversary of my father's death has passed, and I didn't hear from you. And I know you're holding a lot, but I need you to know you missed it, and it's been on my mind. Friends, that's a generous kind of trust. These are the tenets of trust. They are measurable, observable ways that we can understand trust. So maybe instead of saying, I don't trust you anymore, or I don't trust that organization, you can break it down a bit and actually get at what broke the trust and what can you do to repair it. You know, you keep telling me you're going to do something and you don't follow through. It eats away at my trust. You're not reliable to me. Now, you may be asking yourself, what does this have to do with anything right now? Where we're at right now. The world has been turned on its head. Cruelty is worshipped. Dominance is glorified. Everything is on sale. Vulnerability is dangerous. Things that we assumed are agreed upon norms of governance are being twisted into some kind of funhouse mirror images of themselves. What is there to trust? Where do we go from here? In the prison environment, I could make the same observations. The world gets turned on its head. Cruelty is everywhere. everything is on sale. Dominance is glorified. Vulnerability is dangerous. The rules of living on the inside and living on the outside are some kind of fun house mirror images of themselves. And so I'm paying attention to the risks taken and the small moments of trust that actually make a difference in my small circle of men who are trying to repair and transform their lives. I'm asking, what builds a trustworthy community? How can I be an attentive and generous companion to prevent a thread or two of the social fabric from unraveling? I'm trusting the small-scale gestures that have large-scale impacts. And I'm often trusting in that which does not make sense, that seems illogical, silly, ridiculous by any measure of most of our culture. That the small is huge, that the tiny is vast. I ask myself, I ask these men, I ask you, what are you willing to do, to risk, to repair your life, to repair your communities, to repair our democracy? How will we move forward despite the wobbly groundlessness of we don't know? I, for one, will risk grief. I will welcome it into my heart as often as it arrives, for grief is my human capacity to transform suffering into the fertile ground of spiritual depth and the grounding for doing the next right thing. Being in relationship with grief creates a strong back and a tender heart for what was, what is, and what is unfolding. I will be using the tenets of braving writ large to assess where I will place my trust in communities and leaders. Are there clear boundaries? Are they reliable, accountable? Do they understand trustworthy communications? Do they come from a place of integrity? Is there a value of non-judgment? Are they grounded in generosity? This place, this church, is a trustworthy community. You are braving in all kinds of ways, supporting immigrant families, being a safe haven for GLBTQ and trans beloveds, loving your kids into thoughtful, spiritually grounded adults, loving your neighbor, not at arm's length, but breathing what our neighbor is inhaling, seeing what they are seeing, feeling what they are feeling. I know I can't do everything. We can't do everything. But I will put my energy, my money, my actions towards social and political frameworks that make for human flourishing. That is my metric. And I will use this framework of braving to take stock of the what and how and the why of what I'm doing. Do I have clear boundaries? Am I reliable? Am I generous? I will do my best not to succumb to cynicism or numbness, but instead center love and to choose to put my tangible, trustworthy energy there, centering love. Trust what you can't see, the poet says, and I will add, lean into your braving. May it be so, and amen.
Friends, go out today, braving all the way. Lean on your friends and trust that deep, centering power of love that every one of you has in your heart. Breathe it in, breathe it out. Go in peace.